now it says that Shruti Pratipanna te yada sthashati nishchala samadha vachala buddhistada yogam avapsasi. Before Krishna said that if you are not, if you are not disturbed or distracted by the, chaos outside, he was talking about the chaos which is outside, and if you are not disturbed in the chaos outside, then you have attained the state of yoga. Now it says that, even if the Vedas or, whatever you listen, different kind of informations that you have, like when you are in the field of spirituality, you hear many things. You hear many things, you hear many, stories. You hear many different things. You are following one path, and then somebody comes and say that this is not, this is not a real path. That is a real path. So this is all what we hear. So in case of all this, when we are listening to a lot of informations from the external world, from our family, from our friends, as well as from the scriptures, from the books, and in the midst of all this, information, if I am not distracted, if I am firm, if I am like, I'm firm, I'm strong, then what happens? Samadha vachala buddhistada yogam avapsasi. My mind then, attains the state of samadhi. Only when, only when I am firm, amidst all the informations that comes to my mind, and my mind gets, distracted. Though my mind gets distracted, I remain very firm, and I remain, just I continue with my path. I don't change. I don't let myself get, distracted. Okay. Then it says, then my mind enters into the state of samadhi, and this is how I attain yoga. So just see how yoga is, how yoga or attainment of, the divine is so easy. We have different situations in the life, different situations, good and bad situation comes to us. If we can stay, undisturbed, if we can stay, firm, then this is the very simple and very easy way to attain the state of yoga or enlightenment. Aditi.
Entonces, ahora Krishna dice, si tú no estás distraído en el caos de lo que ves afuera, si tú no estás distraído en el caos que ves afuera, tú has atendido este estado de yoga. Si tú ves alguna información, oyes cosas, en medio de este camino, cuando sigues este camino, alguien te dice, no, este no es el camino verdadero, este no es el camino real. Este puede ser el caso. Puede ser el caso que oigas muchas informaciones, tanto de la familia, de los amigos, incluso de las mismas escrituras o de los libros. En medio de toda esta información, si tú te mantienes firme frente a todo esto, entonces, ¿qué pasa? Que la mente entonces atiende el estado de samadhi. Solo cuando está firme en medio de toda esta información, en medio de todo este caos, la mente se mantiene firme. La mente en medio de toda la distracción se mantiene fuerte, no cambia y no se mantiene distraída. Entonces, esa mente entra en estado de samadhi. Esto es yoga. Entonces, así es tan fácil. Esto, nos está mostrando cómo si tú haces esto en tu vida, si te mantienes firme en medio de todas las situaciones que te vienen, tú atiendes yoga. Es una forma fácil de atender yoga.
Okay?
Okay, yes.
So when Krishna said this, that if you are not disturbed by all these informations that comes to your mind, or comes within your within your system, then your mind gets your mind enters into the state of samadhi, and this is how you attain yoga. So when Krishna said this, then Arjuna had a question. And this is where this discussion between Arjuna and Krishna becomes very interesting, because till now Krishna was the only one who was speaking, and he was not sure whether Arjuna is listening or not, or if he is listening, what kind of effect he is having in his mind. Krishna was not sure, so he was just keeping, he was just going on speaking about this knowledge one after the other. But now when Arjuna had this question, so Krishna, was happy, as well as he became assured that this person whom I'm talking for such a long time is listening to me. And because he's listening to me, he is absorbing what I'm saying. That is why this question has come. And that made Krishna really happy. So what was the question that Arjuna asked? So now Arjuna is asking one question. Arjun Uvacha. He says, Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha, samadhisthasya keshava, sthitadhi kim prabhasheta, kimasita brajeta kim. So this is what, this is a question that Arjuna has asked to Krishna. What does it mean? He says, sthita pragya means a person who has not only, attained enlightenment, a person who has not only attained the state of yoga, but he has attained firmness in knowledge. He is steadfast in knowledge. So this person is much more. This person is much more than a self-realized soul, because he has not only realized the self, but his wisdom is steadfast, means he is established in the wisdom. And this kind of person who are established in the wisdom, this kind of person is called sthita pragya. So Arjuna is asking, sthita pragyasya ka bhasha. That is, what do you mean by being sthita pragya? What do you mean by being sthita pragya? Means who are these people? Who are these people who have attained the state of sthita pragya? That is, was attained the state of complete steadfast in wisdom. Samadhisthasya keshava. And what is samadhi? Arjuna is asking, what is samadhi, and what is this, this person who has attained the state of, yoga, and he is steadfast in knowledge. Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta. How does this self-realized soul, whose wisdom is steadfast, who is established in knowledge, how do these people speak? Kima sita, how do they live? And brajeta kim, and how do they move around? So this was a question of Arjuna, very interesting question. And after this, Krishna had spoken 18 verses describing about how this person is, how a self-realized soul whose wisdom is steadfast in knowledge, whose wisdom is steadfast, how, means who is this person, and what does it do, and how does it live, how does it talk, and how does it move around. Okay, so Aditi.
Okay. Entonces, ahora nos habíamos quedado cuando atiende Samadhi, ¿cierto? Sí. Entonces ahora Krishna, al decir esto, Arjuna pregunta. Esto es una conversación, recordáis, entre Krishna y Arjuna. Entonces, Krishna ha estado hablando de conocimiento largo rato. Y al preguntar a Arjuna, Krishna está hablando de conocimiento largo rato y al preguntar a Arjuna, Krishna se pone muy feliz porque se da cuenta que Arjuna la está escuchando y además de escucharlo ha absorbido y tiene una pregunta. Entonces hay esa receptividad y Krishna se pone feliz. Arjuna le dice, ¿cómo es una persona que atiende iluminación, que atiende este estado de yoga? ¿Y cómo es, cómo es que se ha establecido en este conocimiento esa persona? ¿Cómo es esa persona que además de atender este estado de yoga se ha establecido, se ha realizado en este conocimiento? Krishna le habla de que esta persona es un Shita Pratya. Entonces Arjuna le pregunta, ¿cómo es esta gente? ¿Cómo es esta persona Shita Pratya? ¿Cómo es esta gente que está totalmente establecida en la sabiduría, que está más allá de la experiencia de yoga, que se ha establecido en esta sabiduría? ¿Y qué es Samadhi? ¿Cómo es esta alma realizada que se ha establecido todo el tiempo en el conocimiento? Arjuna le pregunta cómo hablan Shita Prajna, estas personas, cómo viven, cómo se mueven. Y esta pregunta que hace Arjuna, que es muy interesante, tiene la respuesta de Krishna de 80 versos, explicando cómo es esta persona establecida en el conocimiento, quién es esta persona, cómo habla, cómo vive, cómo se mueve. Okay. Yes.
So in the, now Krishna is answering his question. So the first thing that he says, there are two parts in this first answer. First is a practical way, the practical way of of looking into a person who is a self-realized soul, and not only that, he is steadfast in knowledge. This is a practical way, this from the worldly point of view, and the other is from the spiritual point of view. Okay, so he says that prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanaivatmana tushta sthita pragyasya. So, now he is defining a person who has, whose knowledge is steadfast, means who is established in knowledge all the time. Means all the time in his life, in every condition, he is established in knowledge. So, Krishna is describing about this person. He says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Our mind. Now we are entering into the, very, very, important aspect of spirituality. These 18 verses that we are going to discuss, these 18 verses is the gist of Bhagavad Gita. It is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, these 18 verses. So he says, Prajahati yada kaman, and also you need to practice this. When you listen to this, how does a self-realized soul live their life? So you also need to practice their way of life. And when you practice their way of life, you see that you have become self-realized, automatically. So he says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. That is, our mind is producing desires in a continuous basis. Constantly, my mind is producing desires. My mind means thoughts, group of thoughts, cluster of thoughts. If you see every thought, you will see every thought is a desire. Every thought is a desire. Now, Prajahati. So my mind is producing desires continuously. all along the mind is producing desires. Prajahati, that is one who can, separate himself. One who can separate himself from all the desires that the mind produces. Okay, this is very important. If you can separate yourself from the desires that your mind is producing, constantly, then what happens? Then you are left with no choice other than the self. Because, when you hold the desires or when you run after desires, that is the only medium by which you get connected with the world. Now you are not running after desires. So if you are not running after desires, then what happens? Then you are not getting connected with the world. So when you are not getting connected with the world, then with whom are you getting connected to? You are getting connected to yourself. And when you are getting connected to yourself, that is the time when you realize how beautiful, how fulfilling, how magnificent you are, how amazing you are. And you then, just dissolve within yourself. You dissolve within yourself, and by this dissolution, you experience immense satisfaction, immense pleasure. So Krishna says that a person who does not run after the desires which the mind is creating, instead of that, he connects with himself and he stays within himself and enjoys the bliss of being himself, enjoys the joy of being himself. This person is called Sthita Pragya. This person is, this person's wisdom is steadfast. Okay? So, Aditi, if you don't understand, you can ask me any question. This is very important. So now we are moving into a very important part of Bhagavad Gita. This is, all about sadhana. And at the same time, this is all about accomplishment. So if you have any question, instantly you should ask.
Si tenéis alguna pregunta, preguntarle. Estamos entrando en la parte más importante del Bhagavad Gita. Todo esto es sadhana y todo esto es práctica y establecerte. Entonces, comento primero lo que ha dicho antes de que preguntéis. Dice, entonces Krishna está contestando a esta pregunta. Swamiji nos ha dicho que ahora vienen los versos más importantes del Gita. Entonces, la primera cosa que dice, hay dos aspectos de esta parte, que es como el centro. La primera parte es una parte práctica. Es una práctica desde el punto de vista del mundo, del camino práctico, de lo mundano. Y la segunda parte es desde un punto de vista espiritual. Entonces, lo primero que dice Krishna es que define a esta persona que está establecida todo el tiempo en el conocimiento. Dice que esta parte que viene ahora es la gesta, es la esencia del Gita. Dice que a través de practicar esto, a través de practicar la forma como vive, a través de practicar cómo está viviendo, inmediatamente practicándolo te conviertes y realizas. Es una experiencia para ti, es real. Automáticamente por hacer y por practicar y por hacer cómo vive, cómo hace, tú también vas a realizar. Entonces, lo que está hablando en esta primera parte es qué hace la mente, porque la mente está produciendo deseos constantemente. La mente significa un grupo de pensamientos. Entonces, si cada pensamiento lo analizas, cada uno de los pensamientos es deseo, es un deseo. Y la mente no para de producir deseos continuamente, ella sola, está produciendo deseos, produciendo deseos. Entonces Krishna, aquel que se separa de sí mismo de los deseos, aquel que se separa a sí mismo de los deseos constantemente, de los deseos que está produciendo la mente, ¿qué pasa? Que realiza el ser. Los deseos son tu conexión con el mundo. Entonces, si no corres detrás de los deseos, ¿qué va a pasar? Si no corres detrás de los deseos, no te vas a conectar con el mundo y tú te vas a conectar con ti mismo. En este momento, no te vas a conectar con la mente, te vas a conectar con ti mismo y vas a realizar el ser. Y dices, Swamiji, qué bonito, es asombroso lo que tú eres. Entonces, tú mismo, estar asociándote a ti mismo, te descubres a ti y te diluyes en ti y experimentas una inmensa satisfacción y un inmenso placer. Krishna dice que la persona que no corre detrás de sus deseos, que en lugar de eso, de correr detrás de los deseos de la mente, se separa de la mente y se conecta consigo misma, se difunde, se disuelve en ese gozo de sí mismo, en esa dicha de sí mismo. Y esta persona es un Kshitrapajya, porque todo el tiempo, al estar ahí, todo el tiempo se establece en este conocimiento. Así que si tenéis alguna pregunta, esta parte es muy importante, esta parte sadhana en sí mismo es práctica. Te podéis hacer una pregunta, Swamiji.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, Swamiji.
Now he is, now after he said this, now he is making things more simple. He said that a person who gets connected with himself, he gets connected with himself and stays there and enjoys being himself and is satisfied. This person is, this person's, wisdom is steadfast. Now he is making things more simple. He's making things more simple with respect to the world. If I can practice this, then I am also going to attain the same place about which he is, he is describing. Okay? So he says, Dukheshu anudvignamana, Sukheshu vigataspriha, Beat raga bhaya krodha, Sthitadhi munir uchchate. It's beautiful. Just, just how to approach this world, how to be in this world. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to do any spiritual sadhana. Just, change the way you are in this world. And that is how you are going to attain, you are going to attain being a saint, being a self-realized soul, an enlightened soul. So what he says, Dukheshu anudvigna mana. When we have sorrow in our life, when we have adverse situation, that is means I want things to happen in this way, but the things did not happen that way. It happened just the opposite. So I am thinking of going towards the east, and I'll end up going towards the west. So in this situation, when there is this adverse situation, what happens to us? We become anxious. We become very anxious, frustrated, mostly anxious. And out of this anxiety, we create many things in our head. And, we do stuff which is all wrong. So he said that if you find yourself in adversity, if you find yourself, completely opposite to what you expect, in that situation, in that moment, don't be anxious. Be firm. Try to see how to get rid of this, how to get out of this. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Dukeshu anudvignamana. Don't be afraid. Don't be, don't be anxious. Don't run away. Face the situation. Dukeshu anudvignamana. Sukheshu vigatas priha. And the next thing is when we attain success. Like I want to go to the east and I am going to the east. I am in the east. So when things happens according the way I want, then what happens? We become happy. And when we become happy, we get attached to that happiness. But this happiness is not going to stay. It's going to change. It will again become unhappy because the world is moving. So now it is day and then it will be night. So happiness also is moving. So it's not going to be happy all the time. It will become sad. So, when you are in happy times, then don't get attached to that. This we need to practice. When we are in the middle of failure, completely in an opposite situation, we should not be scared. We should not be anxious. We should not run away. We should not be distracted. We should face the situation and try and get out of the situation. And Sukheshu vigatas priya. And when there is happiness, when there is success, don't get attached to success because this is temporary. It's temporary. It again will become failure. So, don't get attached to the success. Okay? Vitaraga bhaya krodha. Don't be attached to anything. Don't be afraid of anything. And don't be angry about anything. Okay? This you have to practice. You should not be attached to anything. In any given thing, don't get attached to anything. Don't get attached to fear. Don't have this fear. Miedo. Don't have this. And don't have anger. Don't have anger. Control your anger. Control your anger. Control your fear, and control your attachments. Then stitadhi muni uchate. Then you are an enlightened soul. Just look at enlightenment is so easy if you can practice this. That when you are in the state of failure, then you don't get anxious. Treat it as a chance for you to attaining self-knowledge. And when you're in success, don't get attached to that also. Again, treat it as a way of self-knowledge. Be ready for failure. Don't get attached to anything. Wherever you are attached, try to get rid of them. Don't have fears. Don't be afraid of anything. And don't be angry about anything. Control your anger. Then you are a self-realized soul, an enlightened soul. Aditi.
Entonces ahora habla de cosas muy simples, dice cosas de una forma muy simple. Dice la persona que está conectada consigo misma, la persona que disfruta estando consigo misma, que se satisface estando consigo, esta persona se establece en el conocimiento. Si practicas esto, si atiendes esto, vas a colocarte en el mismo lugar que esa persona, de la persona que está hablando, de esta alma que está establecida todo el tiempo en este conocimiento. ¿Cómo aproximarte a este mundo? Por eso habla de lo importante que es tu aproximación a este mundo. ¿Cómo es la aproximación a este mundo de un ser, de una persona que está establecida en el conocimiento? No necesitas meditar, no necesitas hacer práctica espiritual. Lo que dice Krishna aquí es, solo cambia la forma de estar en el mundo. Si tú cambias la forma de estar en el mundo, vas a tener la forma de un santo, vas a tener la forma de un alma realizada. Entonces, ¿cuál es esa forma? Cuando viene la tristeza, habla de dos formas. Una es cuando viene la tristeza, cuando viene la adversidad. Si tú quieres ir al este y te pones a caminar y estás yendo al oeste, ¿qué pasa en esta situación? Pues que te vas a volver ansioso, frustrado, te van a venir cosas a la cabeza, lo vas a ver todo mal. Y entonces no te ves a ti mismo en esa adversidad y entonces te viene el miedo, te sientes ansioso. Lo que te dices es estate firme, no huyas de esto, confronta la situación. ¿Y qué pasa cuando las cosas sí que suceden de la forma que tú habías pensado? ¿Qué pasa? Pues que viene la felicidad. Y te dicen, no tengas apego a esta felicidad. La felicidad no se va a quedar. El mundo cambia, al día le sigue la noche y a la noche le sigue el día. Entonces esa felicidad le va a seguir la tristeza. Esa felicidad se va a volver tristeza. Así que cuando estés en situaciones felices, tampoco te apegues a esto, porque se va a ir. Esto es practicar el no apego al éxito y no al apego al fracaso. Cuando hay fracaso, no te apegues a la ansiedad, no te apegues al miedo, no te apegues al caer, simplemente confronta la situación. Y cuando venga el éxito, que es temporal, no te apegues a eso, porque todo es temporal. Todo sube y baja. Así que no te apegues a nada, no te apegues al miedo, no te apegues al enfado, simplemente no te apegues. Esto es una práctica de no apegarte. Cuando tengas miedo, no te apegues a él. Cuando hay enfado, no te apegues a él. Controla el enfado, controla el miedo, controla tus apegos. Entonces, inevitablemente serás un alma iluminada, practica y entonces la iluminación será fácil. Si hay fracaso, tómalo como un reto para atender a autorrealización. Y si hay éxito, prepárate porque luego va a venir el fracaso. Okay.
So today we have to stop here. Okay. So next time we are going to start from this. Please remember the verse we had completed 53. So the next Wednesday we'll start from 54. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swamiji.